So with the public and private sectors both gutting DEI programs, I thought it was really important to sit down and talk about DEI in the context of the makeup industry. So in that vein, I'm going to be doing a full face of DEI makeup in this video. And yes, my voice is a little bit hoarse because I am a little bit under the weather, but I really wanted to film this video before the end of Black History Month. Although March is Women's History Month, which, as I'll discuss in a minute, is also a large part of DEI. So I have one of the new shades in the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint, the new shade in her Glow Serum, a lot of Danessa Myricks actually. I have the Groundwork Blooming Romance palette that I got in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. So if you'd like to jump ahead to me trying those products, I will have timestamps down below. So what is DEI and why should you care? So DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Diversity refers to the representation of people from a variety of backgrounds at all levels in an organization. A diversity of races, genders, disabilities, religions, ages, sexual orientations, class status, military service status, and more. Equity refers to concepts of fairness and justice, such as fair compensation and substantive equality. More specifically, equity usually also includes a focus on societal disparities and allocating resources and decision-making authority to groups that have historically been disadvantaged and taking into consideration a person's unique circumstances, adjusting treatment accordingly so that the end result is equal. And inclusion is about whether people feel like they belong and whether they feel heard or valued in an organization. So I first wanted to recognize the retailers that have affirmed their commitments to DEI. So Ulta and Sephora have both affirmed their commitments, as has the brand e.l.f. Cosmetics. And that's not an exclusive list by any means, but as Ulta and Sephora are two of the largest beauty retailers in the US, I wanted to take a minute to recognize that. The Ulta CEO has said, supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion is essential to our business because we serve a broad and diverse community of beauty enthusiasts. Our goal is to meet the unique beauty needs of every individual while creating a space where everyone feels welcomed, valued, and comfortable shopping. It's equally important for our associates, as fostering an inclusive culture is a core priority for our company, one that empowers our teams, reflects our values, and strengthens our connection to the communities we serve, which ultimately drives our business forward. So as an example, in 2021 and 2022, Ulta put $25 million and then $50 million respectively into DEI programs. They also signed on to the nonprofit 15% pledge, which is to dedicate 15% of shelf space to Black-owned, founded, and led brands. They promised to double the number of such brands. Sephora actually preceded Ulta in signing onto the 15% pledge. And the CEO and president of Sephora North America, Artemis Patrick, has said, we remain steadfast in our belief that when diversity is alive and celebrated, we all thrive. But if you still think, I don't care, this doesn't affect me, I did want to take a moment to say that according to my YouTube analytics, 96.4% of my audience is female. I don't know racial background or anything else. I just know that statistic. And according to McKinsey, which is a consulting firm, white women have benefited more from DEI than any other demographics. So chances are you might have benefited from prior DEI programs without even realizing it. I did consider filming a video or making short form content of a full face of makeup from brands founded by white women, just to kind of drive that point home. But I do actually have some products from Danessa Myricks that I really want to try. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. But yeah, I think because the beauty industry, beauty, fashion, all of that kind of thing tends to involve more women or like cis white men, we're starting from a more diverse kind of environment to begin with. I was kind of looking at the brands on the Sephora website just to kind of get an overall sense of how many are founded by minorities, how many are founded by women, that kind of thing. And I know Sephora and Ulta both have dedicated sections to, I think, Black-owned or Black-founded brand, so you can shop that way. But even going outside of that, you know, there's a lot of like Latinx representation. I mean, Selena Gomez is one of the top brands at Sephora. Patrick Ta is Asian American, and then Patrick Ta and Mario, I believe, are both gay. So you have that representation as well. So yeah, you kind of look at the full picture. And at this point, there are a lot of brands that have been kind of bought out, and they're run by these huge international companies with boards instead of just kind of a smaller team or owner. So then you get a little bit more into the kind of representation factor on those boards rather than just like the name. So like Bobbi Brown, I think, was bought out by Estee Lauder. Of course, Estee Lauder was an actual woman many, many years ago, but I don't know what the current makeup or CEO of their board is. So with all that being said, let's start off with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum. So this is a shade extension. I have the pink one. And this wasn't like high on my list of things to get, but Good Morning America has like a flash sale site, and they had a lot of Danessa Myricks products that were 50% off. I kind of picked this up and a few other things to get to the free shipping. So it's a nice moisturizing layer. I don't know if this has fragrance. It kind of smells like watermelon. Yeah, it does have fragrance. So it's okay. It has a nice finish on the skin. But I don't know if, again, this is a product that was super high on my list of things to try. That's the pink for reference. And then I have a mini sample of I think this was the original. I'm not sure. This is in the shade Main Squeeze. I know they have a darker one as well. So that's the shade difference there. But they're both pretty sheer. I think obviously the pink one is going to be a little bit better on my skin tone. So going in next, I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury corrector, which I am getting down to the bottom of here. In theory, I have to start going back into the office mid-March. So I'll be wearing makeup like 5 days a week in theory. So it shouldn't take too long to get through some of these products. So one of the main things I was excited about was the shade expansion for the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. I got the new shade 1.5 because previously the shade 1, it always looked pretty yellow. And this one is supposed to have, I think they say pink undertones, but it looks a little bit more neutral, at least in the tube. That was what always held me back from purchasing it before, was the fact that it just looked so yellow. And this did actually launch on the GMA site before it was ever available on like the Sephora website or Danessa Myricks, or before they even announced it. So I did post about it on my Instagram. I also got it for half off, which was a plus. But yeah, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I try to be a little bit judicious in terms of what I advertise, I guess. I don't want to spam anyone, but yeah, that looks like it's going to be a pretty good match. I also picked up, like I said, to get to the free shipping, which, you know, this retails for $36. Would I have been better off just buying this instead of buying a few other things to get to free shipping? Possibly. But anyway, I picked up the Yummy Skin Serum Foundation in the shade 1P because this is a shade that has been out for a while, I believe. Danessa also launched new shades of the blurring balm powder, I think it's called. This is interesting. It has like a squeezy middle. How do I actually get this open now? Okay, so this part twists off. All right. So it reminds me a little bit of the, do I need to shake this? Of the new Makeup Forever skin tint, which the packaging of that kind of turns me off, to be honest. It looks like a kid's toy. Okay, so this is 1P for reference. And that doesn't look like it quite got mixed up enough, but yeah, I would say if you are 1P in the foundation, 1.5 is going to be pretty good for you. So this is the skin tint, and that is the foundation. The skin tint is maybe a touch deeper and has a little bit more of a peach undertone to it. But otherwise, I think it should work. So I'm just gonna take what I already squeezed out onto my hand. And I guess I'll start off with half of my face. I looked in my, like where I store my foundation samples to see if I had any samples of the shade 1, just to kind of compare it, but I did not see any. So it has a nice kind of feeling to it. It doesn't have the most coverage, that weird kind of mark on my nose. I also pulled out her Yummy Skin concealer, so I'll see how these two play together. I'd say it definitely has that kind of like thicker texture to it. Like it feels very kind of creamy. I am curious about the new Milk Hydro Grip product. I might pick that one up as well. So obviously I'm just blending this in with my fingers. And I think this came out around the same time as the Hourglass skin tint. I never tried that one either. But yeah, I'd say it has like nice kind of light coverage. I'll have to do some wear tests with it to see if it's gonna hold up. I mean, it's not meant to be kind of full coverage or anything. So I know this product has been out for a while and there's been plenty of review videos and everything on it. So I really just wanted to kind of show you the color. And I'm just seeing what I can build up with what's on my hand. Probably squeezed out too much. Yeah, it has a really nice kind of texture to it. I'm just wondering if it's going to, I don't know, feel too heavy, especially as we get into the warmer months. And I do have dry skin. So if I went in with more of kind of a tinted moisturizer, skin tint amount, I probably wouldn't have any complaints. But it's doing some weird things on my nose. Like I said, I've been sick, so I feel like my skin has been kind of exceptionally dry, even though I have a humidifier and I haven't really done anything differently in terms of skincare, so it's just going through it right now. All right, so let's apply some of the concealer. I know I've applied this on camera before and talked about it. This is in the shade 1. It is, I'd say, definitely kind of a brightening shade on me. So the shade 1 is fair with pink undertones, 2 is fair with neutral, and then 3 is fair with golden. I'm just gonna blend that in. I feel like the product is kind of starting to set down, so the forehead could maybe use some powder, but all right, so I'm just gonna take my damp beauty blender here, and I just want to kind of see if I can fix any little areas where it's not like totally meshing. Mostly just my nose. I don't know if I just need to like, I don't know, do some exfoliation or what, but that is the concealer. And I do like it. I don't think it's my all-time favorite. I do like the packaging a lot because it's so compact. I've been reaching for the Kulfi a lot, which I think is a little bit better in terms of skin tone match. It's not as brightening on me, and it's also very creamy. So going in with the e.l.f. Wow Brow in Taupe. So like I said, e.l.f., I don't know if it was founded by anyone who would kind of fit under the DEI umbrella, although really diversity does not mean like excluding white people or anything. So there's that. And then I'm gonna set that with the Patrick Ta lamination gel. I thought it would be interesting as kind of a thought experiment. If you kind of stripped out all the commentary from this video and you just saw the products I was using, would you think I had any kind of theme other than I'm just doing my makeup? Obviously there's a lot of Danessa Myricks products, but other than that, like using e.l.f. or Charlotte Tilbury, or this is the Fenty. Do I want to use this product? I think I'm gonna skip on the Fenty primer, but you get my point. Like, some of these are just products I use all the time. Okay, so this is the Blooming Romance palette, and I got this in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. I'm a little intimidated, to be honest, but I am very curious to try it. So if you're not familiar, this is a palette where you have coordinating powder and like cream kind of pomade shades. I would prefer it, I think, if the powder were the bigger pan, but for whatever reason, she did not design it that way. So I think I'll start off by taking, this is a little Travel 203 brush from BK, and I'm gonna go into that like cream kind of shade. This is supposed to be kind of a multi-purpose palette. She had the more neutral one, and this does, I swear this has a fragrance. I don't know why you would need to put fragrance in a product like this, but it has phenoxyethanol. I think that might be, it's like a preservative and a fragrance, if I recall. I'm gonna have to look that up. Maybe I'm thinking of phenethyl alcohol anyway. Yeah, so I haven't quite decided how much I'm going to lean into the kind of multi-purpose aspect of this palette. I think it's a little bit easier. I'm gonna go into that corresponding powder shade with my Sigma Large Fluff E50. BK Beauty was obviously founded by Lisa J, who was a content creator on YouTube before she started BK Brushes, which stands for Be Kind, I believe. Just from memory. I'm not sure about Sigma. I can't recall offhand. I'm gonna stick with like the powder shade, so I'm gonna go into this like slightly mauvier shade right here. And this is a Sonia G Classic Crease. So yeah, if I had to choose between this and the original one, I probably would have chosen the original one, but I meant to say at the outset, and I forgot, that any criticisms I have of a particular product should not be given any kind of greater meaning, other than I think every brand has products that are better than others, or sometimes it just comes down to preference. So this is the mini booster, and going into this shade here, I think these shadows are kind of nicely blendable, the powder ones. I'm not really having any issues. I'm gonna go into that first shade again with the Classic Crease. Just kind of blend around the edges. So the problem with a palette like this is that there aren't any like metallic shades, unfortunately. I never picked up her holiday palette because I just didn't think I would get a lot of use out of it, but this would be a great kind of use case for it. All right, so I haven't set my under eyes. I'm gonna take my Sonia G flat definer, and I guess I'll go in with that powder shade. And these pans are removable. I don't think they're kind of interchangeable with her holiday palette, so I hope at some point she, I don't know, makes all of that consistent. I'm just having kind of an internal discussion with myself about where I want to take this. So I pulled out the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette just for a little bit of sparkle, and I'm going to take the shade Mia down here and just apply that with a finger. Just to give it a little something. And then going back to this palette, oh, there's a plastic thing I haven't taken off yet. Do you like that? I want to take one of these deeper shades. I'm going to take Bliss. Again, going in with the powder. Just add a little bit more depth. I guess because these are meant to be kind of multi-purpose, she didn't like totally overwhelm you with the pigment, so that they can be a little bit more universal on the face. Because generally a blush is not as pigmented as an eyeshadow, for example. Let's see. I'm just gonna take my classic crease again and just blend. Yeah, the fragrance is, every time I kind of put this in front of my face, it just hits me. Yeah, I'm not sure I love this palette, like from a color story perspective. I need to camouflage this thing on my nose. I guess this would be a good time to use this Lisa Eldridge concealer pencil. This is kind of the use case, isn't it? I think that helps. I think unfortunately my nose has just kind of been through it recently. Made it less distracting anyway. Okay, so going back into this palette, and I'm going to take my little BK208 brush, and this time going into the cream side. I'm going to try Evermore, maybe. It's not the darkest. Oh, it's interesting because it's not like super creamy. It has a little bit of that kind of, I don't know, cream to powder texture, which maybe I would like more as a shadow. So it's a little bit of a softer effect than how I normally do my eyeliner with like a gel pencil. So I don't love it. It's reading a little bit redder, I think, than I want it to. Let's try this darker shade. Yeah, this one isn't quite as, I don't know, maybe I just haven't poked into it enough, but yeah, it's so interesting, the texture. So I'll just say I really respect Danessa Myricks as a like makeup artist and brand owner. And I think she does a good job of like continuing to innovate and think creatively. I think you can still see the makeup artist DNA in her products, even though they're being sold at Sephora or whatever. And like her holiday palette is something that I could see a makeup artist carrying. So I really appreciate her from that perspective. I often tend to be, I guess, a little bit more basic. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like the most creative with my looks. But beyond that, I think she also just seems to be a really kind and wonderful person. I think, you know, if she could give a hug to some people in power right now, I think, you know, she would heal them and the world would be a better place. But anyway, I want to try some of these shades as blushes. So I'm going to take my little BK109 and I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is Dreamy. So part of the issue, and this is a fairly small brush, but still just trying to get kind of even product on the brush. Like I said, these are removable, so you could always pop them out if you wanted to. It's not bad as a blush. I do have one of her, what are they called? The blurring blush, like the ones in the kind of compact that have upslide or whatever, it's a little strong in the pigment department. So I know she just released some new shades recently, and although they look beautiful, I just have a feeling they wouldn't really work on me, unfortunately. So, all right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and powder. I haven't done mascara yet, but I was trying to see like how many ways I could use that palette. So I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury again, and this is a BK 103. And I'm gonna powder under the eyes a little bit. It's my Wayne Goss #2 brush, which he has not brought back in this specific format, but there is kind of a new version of it. I don't know what it got on my cheek there. Let's put on some mascara. I have a sample of this Air Perez waterproof mascara that I've been wanting to try. So I believe Air Perez is I think she's like a Mexican-Australian brand owner. So I do normally go for waterproof mascara. So that's what the wand looks like, kind of a natural conical shape. Not bad on the lower lash line. Okay. And then these are the lash curlers from Rephr. I don't know if Rephr was founded by Asian Americans or if they just happened to make or have brushes made in Japan. So it's really light, and I think this is actually like pyramid shaped. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera, but it doesn't deposit a lot, at least this sample. I don't think you're gonna be able to see that. Maybe there. So if you like a very natural lash look, go in for a second coat. Yeah, normally I like a little bit more volume. I don't know how much this is gonna kind of clump up as it gets older. But yeah, if you like a more wispy natural lash, I don't know what the removal is like, obviously. But because my lashes are so pathetic, I do tend to go for a little bit more volume. Oh. Had its revenge. But yeah, it might, oh no, it's gonna water. But I will, I think, try that again because I think it's kept the curl in my lash, which is normally why I like to wear a waterproof. And of course, longevity and stuff is nice too, but. Okay. So now I'm just gonna, I guess, go for a more natural look. So I'm gonna apply the Mario Skin Enhancer. This is a BK 105. Thought about trying a deeper shade in this product. I mean, this is really nice for super natural looks, but sometimes I wish, I don't know, I had a little bit more payoff. Okay, so my lips are not like in the best position either. They say you can use this on the lips, but it makes me a little nervous. I think I might actually take some of this Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy Blush in the shade Happy. I reviewed 2 of the shades and I said I was going to purchase the other 2, or that I had purchased. So I just want to give a little bit more pink maybe, although that's not like a super kind of lilac-y pink really. Kind of a similar texture really. All right, let's do it out of curiosity. I'm gonna take a Rephr 21 brush, I think, and I guess go into that peach kind of shade again, the cream side. Just kind of let's see. Yeah, it's kind of that, it's like a powder texture on the lips. Do you remember when that was like really popular? I mean, it does do something for sure. I'm not sure how long wearing it is. I'm gonna take my Lisa Eldridge pencil again. This is kind of why I got this really, is just to kind of help lighten up those areas because it tends to be a little red. Yeah, as a concealer, I don't know if I'm like totally sold. So I think I might actually try one of Lisa Eldridge's lipsticks. I finally got one of these guys. So this is in the shade Medici. This is one of the Rouge Experience lipsticks. So I think that might work. Still not like the kindest on chapped lips. I think it's a good color though. I'll have to see if there's a lip liner she recommends. Yeah, so I do like that. I'm not like totally mind blown by it. I might film a video about kind of eco-friendly makeup brands and packaging later this spring. So Lisa Eldridge would definitely be a part of the conversation for sure. So I did want to try out her new formula. Okay, so to make things a little bit more comfortable, I'm gonna use the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Gloss in the shade Slow Jam. This has come to the rescue a few times recently. And like I said, I know Bobbi Brown, the brand, has been sold to Estee Lauder and is no longer owned by Bobbi Brown, but I think you could argue it still fits the brief. So yeah, so that is, I think, my final look. Not like the craziest look I've ever done. And I'd say on the whole, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like I said, my skin is not kind of in the best shape right now. And I definitely kind of went outside my comfort zone, tried some new kind of formulations and techniques. But I hope this video gave you some food for thought and just thinking about kind of DEI in general and its place in our modern society. So let me know if you've tried any of these products, if you feel differently about them down below. I'd love hearing from you. And until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.